Today we're going to be doing some home buyer tips. That's right. We're going to be doing signs you should not buy the house or you need to ask more questions. I was inspired to do this video because I was at the beach this weekend, as a Florida gal does, and I was looking at Reddit. I love Reddit. It's my fave. And I was just reading through some of the questions, and it's like, should I buy this house? And I see this a lot. And they list, what's going on. And I'm always like, no, run. Or, hey, like maybe, but let's make sure you do this, and this first, okay? Now, whenever I'm seeing this, my first thought is, oh my gosh, do you have a terrible real estate agent and a terrible mortgage lender, or do you not trust them? Okay, and look, if you're watching this going, oh, I don't trust my team. Reddit's pretty good, guys. Like if you join the first time, I think it's first time home buyers, there's one with a ton, and then there's like one without the S. I don't know which one has a lot of people, but one of them does. Check it out. You can put your scenario in there. You'll get some good advice. You'll get some terrible advice, but you'll get good advice as well, because there's people like me trolling those going, oh, I don't want you to get hurt. Anyways, so I'm like, how is no one telling them to run, right? The one that triggered this was, I was reading this and it's like, hey everybody, I'm trying to figure out if we should buy this house or not. We had an offer on it before and we were in contract. It needed about $40,000 in work. It has mold, electrical problems. There's an issue with the foundation. Like they were listing off this stuff and I was sitting there going, this is way more than 40,000. Okay, that's the first thing that went to my mind, is this is way more than $40,000. And then it's like, so we backed out because they wouldn't negotiate, but now they came back and we think they're going to negotiate, but it's a divorce sale, so the husband wants to, but the wife doesn't. We really love this house, but should we walk away? Yes. Yeah, definitely. Here's the thing. So the first thing's this. Whenever you guys as a first-time home buyer, if you're looking at an inspection and you're going, oh, I think the repairs will be this or that, get a contractor out there. Especially like if there's mold, you need to get a mold remediation company out there, And the thing with mold is they may go, oh yeah, it's gonna be about $2,000, but we won't know until we punch through the wall. Yeah. That's the thing. You could be in an attic looking at what looks like mold and you're like, oh, that's probably like $2,000. But then guess what? It's in the walls. You don't know. So you really need a professional to go out there, and you need to understand that even based on that quote, it could balloon, right? Plumbing's another one. If it's like, oh, there's a slow drain. Okay, look. There are drains that are slow, and let's be honest here. I'm going to give you guys a top tip. Flushable wipes are not flushable. Don't do it. I was looking at this new cleaning product, because they have the little wands that they say, those aren't flushable either. And now they have like a sheet. I don't know who would do this. Like, I don't want to put my hand in the toilet with the sheet. Anyways, they're not flushable. Okay, so look, sometimes you can have a slow drain just because someone's been believing this is all flushable. And look, I got very dramatic there. Every single plumber who's watching this, please confirm that I am right, because it's you guys that have told me that it's not flushable. Anyways, it could be something like that. Or it could be a tree root. Yeah, tree roots, guys, are bad. So if you have something like a slow drain, I would say get a sewer scope. That's right, get a sewer scope. They literally send down a little camera to go check the pipes to see if there's any bigger issues. Because you could look at something and go, oh, it's a slow drain, and it could end up with them having to rip up everything to get to your plumbing. No joke, seen it. Anyways, so really make sure that if you see stuff that you think is like, could be bigger, mold, electrical, plumbing, leaks, roofs, all of that fun stuff, get quotes from real contractors, okay? And if the seller's like, we don't want those people in our house, I wouldn't buy it. Because I would be like, if you don't want me to get a quote to see how much this is going to cost me to repair, my instinct is going to tell me you already got a quote and you know it's bad, okay? So if I saw those things, would I walk away from that house up front? Yeah, like I've already been to that movie, no thanks. But if I was in love with the house, would I get quotes from professionals? Yes. And then would I expect it to be 40% more than what they tell me? Absolutely, because that's how construction works. Okay, The next scenario that I see on there all the time is, hey, like we were at the top of our price range and then we found the perfect house and the lender found a way to make it work, but we're really scared about the payments. We're not sure what to do. Okay. Do you know what the payments are? That's the thing. A lot of times people are unsure or nervous and they don't even know what the payment is, or they haven't even gotten a homeowner's insurance quote. So the first thing I would always say is like, has your lender actually gone through the payments? Is the interest rate locked? Do you have a firm insurance quote? And have they verified property tax and HOA? Right? Because the thing that you guys don't recognize is, let's say it's new construction, right? And you're working with the builder's lender and you're already uncomfortable. Guys, most of the time with those loans, they close with what the taxes currently are, which is land value. The minute that baby closes, no matter what state you're in, they will reassess and your taxes are going to go from here to here. So you want to know, what are the numbers? Okay. And if you're like, oh, well, they haven't told me how much homeowner's insurance is, that's your job. That's not the lender's job. It's your job to get a homeowner's insurance quote, pick the company, and tell us who you want to use. If the lender's saying they'll do all that, I wouldn't be comfortable with that. Why are they doing that? Are they getting a kickback? Like, as a lender, for me to pick out your home insurance is such a high liability risk. No way. No one with common sense is going to be doing that unless they're getting a kickback. So make sure you're getting your own home insurance. Go through the payment with your lender. Do a budget. Now, if you go through the payment and if you do a budget and you're like, oh yeah, we can't make this work, don't buy the house. Don't buy the house. Now, let me be clear. If you're looking at your budget and you realize that you have $1,000 a month, okay, that's exaggerating. $600 a month. True story, guys. I had a client that had $600 a month of Peacock, Hulu, cable, sports packages, you know, just all this. It was like their mortgage payment was only going to be $1,200. And they're like, Jen, we can't afford the mortgage. And I'm like, what? And then I was like, guys, you have to give up the TV. No. Okay, then you can't have a house. Right? You know, go through your budget. Is there stuff you'll actually give up or is there stuff you won't? You know, in their case, this was what their entertainment was and they were passionate. So they chose this. Be honest with yourself, okay? Going on a form and asking a bunch of strangers, can we afford this? None of us know. Even asking me, I don't know. You know, we don't look. I can look at your debt to income as a lender, and if you're on the higher side, I can ask you a couple questions to see if you're really going to be hosed. But like in general, is every lender going to say, yeah, you can't afford this or this is going to be brutal? No, because most lenders just need a paycheck right now. That's why you have to be so careful. Or the lender was referred to you by the real estate agent. They don't work for you. I can't say that enough. They work for the real estate agent. So do you think they want you going back to the real estate agent saying, oh, Barry told me that I can't really afford the house. He can do the loan, but I'm going to be house poor. No, that real estate agent will never give them a deal again because they just blew up their paycheck. Okay? So really make sure that you guys are being ahead of this. Like, I would be careful with that from the beginning. If your debt to income, like what's my rule of thumb? It depends on your spending habits, okay? Because I've seen people who have a 30% debt to income and they really can't go above that. You know, childcare is so brutal in America, or they just like to go out, they like to travel, and it's never gonna change, and that's okay, right? I've had people at a 50% debt to income where they can easily afford it. They don't travel, they don't have a bunch of nonsense, they're very frugal with their money, you know, they have savings, they know what they're doing. And then I've had people at 50% where it's just not gonna work out. So really do a budget, really look at what you can afford, but make sure your lender's giving you real numbers and you're asking questions like, hey, like, are property taxes likely gonna go up? The answer in every single state is yes. Yes, property taxes and home insurance go up. Yes, they do. How much is the question, okay? What is the other one? Like whenever I see someone and they're like, I'm looking at buying this house, but I don't know that it's really what I want. I wanted 3 bedrooms, but it's 2, but my real estate agent says if I don't buy this, I'll never buy a house. dump your real estate agent every single time, every single time. Now, look, it could be a situation where for your budget, a 2-bedroom is the most you're going to get. But if you need a 3-bedroom ultimately in order to be satisfied in the home, right? Wait, stack cash, stack cash. Now look, do I think housing prices are going to come down? No, but the last thing that is positive for anyone is to be in a house they hate. And if, for instance, you have 7 children, a 2-bedroom house is unlikely to work out, okay? Not saying a 3-bedroom would. Do I think every child should have their own bedroom? No, we're not all princesses and princes, right? I can't even imagine. Also, like, sharing a room with a sibling, it is a core part of your character, right? Like, wars, all the things that happen when you share a room, very important. But the key is you need to be happy with your house. You don't want to settle. Now look, is it going to be everything on your wish list? No, but if you're at a point where you're typing into a form, should I buy this? I don't really want it, but my realtor says I should buy it. I would not buy it. I would not buy it. Okay, so those are just a couple things that spring to mind. I hope this video is helpful. I'll be doing more of this. I spend a lot of time on Reddit just because I do want to help all you guys. I want you guys to avoid mistakes. If you're looking for a mortgage lender, I'm licensed in 48 states. My team's in 50. That's right, Christina brought us up to 50. That girl, she works 24/7. If you've called in, you know. Give us a call, 786-933-2077. Thanks for watching.